I'm not sure what the latest Dr. Fauci thing was on Halloween. He changes his mind a lot, but I think it was go and do it. I hope so, because it certainly has been my position since the beginning of this. Just resume living. I mean, come on, the 15 of 100,000, that's where we are at cases in California. 15 cases per 100,000 people. I know some people seem to not want to give up on the wonderful pandemic, but you know what? It's over. There's always going to be a variance. You shouldn't have to wear masks. I haven't had a meeting with my staff since March of 2020. Why? I don't know, the state, the club, whoever it is, you're being fucking, sorry again.
Why him?
Why is he apologizing to me?
I know, because you're a senator and you shouldn't hear bad language, I forget.
Fuck you, asshole.
Never heard that word.
I know. But really, I mean, also, vaccine, mask, pick one. You gotta pick. You can't make me mask if I've had the vaccine.
I have broken up with COVID. It's not working for me anymore. I stayed home the first year. I was a good girlfriend. He was a little abusive. Then I got the vaccine. I walked out of the CVS. I hadn't been that thrilled coming out of a drugstore since I got the birth control pill in 1981. It's like, oh no, I'm back. And it was the same thing. I knew it's like, okay, I'm not going to need this every day, but when I do need it, it's on board. And then I barely got there, and it was like, oh, it's Delta. So I can't keep up. And you know what? I have cancer. I'm triple vaxxed. If it gets me, fair play to it, because it will put up a fight against me, but I'm not staying in my house again.
There you go. Well, you're down with that? Because it's the Democrats who seem to be, I mean, I travel in every state now, back on the road, and the red states are a joy, and the blue states are a pain in the ass, for no reason.
We are all tired of this vaccine. We're all ready to take off
you're tired of the
You're
not tired of the vaccine.
We're all tired of the pandemic.
There you go. See, I save you, you save me.
And I won't swear.
Anyone ever tell you look like a penis with a little hat on?
One of the critical things that's being discussed right now by President Biden, one of the things we have to recommit ourselves to, is supporting vaccination around the rest of the world. There's still a lot of countries that are very, very minimally vaccinated, because if a variant develops out in the world that is able to defeat the vaccine, we are all the way back at the beginning. So in the United States, in most of the Western world, we're ready to be done with this. But we're not done until the world is safe, and we're not safe as a world until the world's vaccinated.
Except the world recognizes natural immunity. We don't, because everything in this country has to go through the pharmaceutical companies. Natural immunity is the best kind of immunity. We shouldn't fire people who have natural immunity because they don't get the vaccine. We should hire them. Yes?
If someone tests as having antibodies.
Well, okay, but you know, people who've had it, I've had it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I shouldn't be tested anymore. I had the vaccine. I got
if someone's willing to be a fireman, if someone's willing to be a policeman, if someone's willing to go into a burning building and says, I'm just not that afraid of COVID and I don't want to take the vaccine, that should be enough. He shouldn't be losing his job. He shouldn't be furloughed without pay. The guy that saves lives because he doesn't want to take a vaccine. It's ridiculous.
And just a little messaging. I mean, I see it all the time. I saw it driving in today. People outside alone, walking with a mask. It's so stupid. It's an amulet.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
a charm people wear around neck to ward away evil spirits. It means nothing. I mean, can't we get people to understand the facts more? I mean, listen to this. For unvaccinated hospitalization risk, unvaccinated, 41% of Democrats thought it was over 50%. Unvaccinated, oh, I don't have that. Hospitalization rate for the vaccinated is actually 0.01%. and the rate for the unvaccinated is 0.89%. So in both cases, the correct answer is less than 1%. They thought it was over 50. How do people, especially of one party, get such a bad idea? Where did that come from?
Hi, this is a little message to the unvaccinated. You are killing everyone. It's your fault. You're being selfish, so get the vaccine because I'm vaccinated. I am vaccinated, okay? And so I'm protected because the vaccine is safe and effective. So if you're around me and you're unvaccinated, then you're putting me at well, you're not. Okay. So you're selfish because if I'm protected and you're around me, then I'm fine, but you're me. Sorry. If you're not vaccinated, then you're racist, is what I'm saying.
So here's the good news. We've got safe, effective vaccines that have saved millions and millions of lives. Here's the bad news. 700,000 Americans have died, hundreds of thousands of them needlessly. So I'm willing to give President Trump and the previous administration and the Congress credit for Operation Warp Speed, for developing these remarkable, life-saving, world-saving vaccines. But I frankly think we shouldn't let up on the urgency of still promoting vaccination so we can enjoy reopening our society, getting back to normal life.
But there is no consensus really on that number of how many have died exactly from COVID or complications from COVID. I mean, just anecdotally, when Colin Powell...
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes, people died, but like Colin Powell died. He had cancer and Parkinson's, and all I heard was he died from COVID.
Right.
Complications. Yes, if you're very sick, something, is going to...
Well, there was a woman, it was in all the news, it was in the New York Times, like, she's 113 and COVID took her out. Well, I mean, she's 113, it's like, that's enough of you.
I'm triggered.
Right.
But I'm telling you, I have cancer a lot.
Don't run for office.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
no, you can't run.
I know a lot of people with cancer.
You'll lose the 113-year-old vote.
Yeah, exactly.
The centenarian demographic.
But, because I look at numbers all the time because of cancer, I look at this COVID stuff, and it's like, yes, anyone I know with cancer would give anything for those odds, 0.89 or whatever. And we're looking at people with complicated health histories a lot of the time. We're looking at obesity as an issue, but no one wants to say it because it's body positivity. And we're looking at poverty. That's where we need to be focused, is people who live really close together. But there's a lot of people within different poor communities who don't want to take it. We just have to take our chances.
Jan, oh Jan, don't listen to her.
Be thoughtful and careful and go back out there and make sure that people who live in dense housing have complete access to the vaccine. Mm-hmm. And if they don't want to take it...
Yeah, we got to get back to life. I mean, you look at the sporting events that all three sports are playing now, including basketball, which is inside. Nobody seems to be having super spreader events. I mean, it was great. It was so much fun having a pandemic. But, bye-bye. Okay, let me...
Chance to improve our baking skills and walk our dogs in.
Right, exactly.
Issue, and race is all throughout this whole issue, but I think it's more complex than that book.
I think it's good that it's coming to the fore because we have to start defining what critical race theory means.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Because it means something to everybody when they hear it. Now, if it means you teach Toni Morrison, I'm for it.
It doesn't mean that.
But it means, right.
Here's the thing about critical race theory in the schools. Of course you can teach it in the schools. There's nothing you can't teach if you teach it in a Socratic method. It can be in a government class. It can be in a U.S. history class. It's the way you look at Marxism as a framework. There's lots of different frameworks to look at history. What you cannot do, and what is happening, is you can't set school policy by the findings of critical race theory. You can't rewrite a curriculum because and you really cannot treat children in a way that you're pulling them out by race and giving them different messages. And that is what you cannot do. It's happening.
Right. If that's what critical race theory means, if it means separating 5-year-olds by race and telling some you're oppressors and the others you're the oppressed and giving up on a colorblind society. And resegregation and racism is the essence of America, then I'm out.
Right, that's what it is.
I'm out on that. But I'm in on Toni Morrison.
But of course,
I'm in on acknowledging racism still persists.
We don't need, obviously, Toni Morrison. We justify her on literary grounds. This is a great American writer. This is a great American book. If people are putting together a literature program, who wouldn't include a novel, at least one novel by Morrison, and I think that's the one that speaks most loudly to young people. There are all sorts of ways you build curricula that don't have anything to do with kind of, listen, Terry McAuliffe, I'm a Democrat. And I love you, but he's a hack politician, and he was siding with the teachers union because he's like, that's where his bread is buttered. And he's a rich man who sent all of his kids to private schools, and he's never in his life had someone tell him, we're going to tell your 8-year-old child something you don't want her to know, and we're going to keep her for 7 hours to do it, and you have no control over that. So it's a big issue, and if he loses it, then Democrats are going to lose. Learn. Run some progressive candidates. Run some people who stand for progressive ideas.
Bingo! Bingo!
Woo! Don't run these retreads. Where are we getting these, Bill? Like, our whole country's supposed to be full of this vigorous young country. It's like, Joe Biden, I mean, okay, at least he got in, but then this Terry McAuliffe, there's got to be, thank God you're here. We need you. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
What the fuck?
You're for recycling, just not a politician.
Exactly.
I don't know if the Democratic Party is lacking for progressive politicians.
Bowman. Pelosi. Jayapal. Pelosi. Jones. Pelosi. Khanna. Pelosi. Newman. Pelosi. Omar. Pelosi. Pocan. Pelosi. Presley. Pelosi. Tlaib. Pelosi. Bush. Pelosi. Ocasio-Cortez. Pelosi.
The vote is ongoing here on the opening day of the 117th Congress, but it appears that Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi has secured her 4th non-consecutive term as Speaker of the House, leading the Democratic majority in this new Congress.
Therefore, the Honorable Nancy Pelosi of the state of California, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Well, I think
we seem to have plenty.
You think
Well, what does it mean to be a progressive? What does it mean to be a progressive? It doesn't necessarily mean these wacky kind of new social ideas. It means that you stand. Our party.
Whatever it is, Joe Biden signed on to it fully.
Right.
So,
But
maybe
our
he's
party
110,
used to
but he
stand-
signed on to that.
We used to stand for the working man and woman. That's who we were.
Yeah.
And that is the agenda that the president is moving forward.
The
with Build
policies
Back
are
Better.
definitely better, yes.
It is not a radical plan,
No.
but what we've been working on for weeks now, weeks, and we will, I believe, deliver in the coming week, is a plan that's going to deal with the costs that keep working families up at night. That's not a radical plan. That's simply dealing with the things that are right in front of us.
Yeah, okay. So I know your new article in The Atlantic is about toxic masculinity.
Well, it's about heroic masculinity.
Okay, but fighting the idea. I mean,
Yes.
there's another thing that parents, I think, around the country are concerned about. I've read this in schools, is that boys are sometimes castigated for basically just being boys.
It's just awful. You know, we've had this wonderful change in our culture where it's, we get it. It's great to be gay. We're way ahead on trans issues. We're way ahead on women's issues and feminism and all that. But then if you get a little boy and he, wants to run fast and he wants to kick things and he wants to jump, toxic masculinity, and he likes stories about heroes. There was just a big article in the New York Times. Some woman is saying, I'm really concerned about my 3 sons. They like stories about saving the day. They like playing video games where they can be a hero. That's called heroic masculinity. It's a real thing. We need it. It's been part of humanity since the beginning. That's what ran up those towers, those 300-something men who gave their lives for others. That was heroic masculinity. And there's just something sick and poisoned that this idea that boys are bad and that they have to be watched and that they have to be retrained and that the people who are going to do the watching and retraining are women. The people who raise boys, you need to have men very involved because boys want to grow up to be men. And so I think that we're going to not be in a good place. If you want to make toxic masculinity to the extent that that's a thing, yeah, sure, of course it is. If you want to create toxic masculinity, tell these boys from preschool on that there's something wrong with them and the things they want to do are wrong. They might be right for this girl over here, but for you they're wrong and you're dangerous. And I know a lot of parents feel this way, and there's got to be a way to celebrate all the diversity of genders and of sexual expression, etc., and still say that there's a very large number of boys who are this way.
And some of what's baked into the cake of us being men is not going to be perfect. But I feel like it's still somewhat popular with women.
You tell me.
Caitlin and I, we're both parents of twin boys. We both have twin boys in their 20s. I also have a daughter. And just one of the things we focused on, my wife and I, in raising our kids, was giving them a model that's positive for heroic adulthood.
Right.
So I'll tell you, in Congress, whether it's Speaker Pelosi.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that?
Or Senator Mikulski was a senator from Maryland. Tough as nails, capable leaders, decisive. I would say heroic role models.
But I identify both of them as women, do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm talking about masculinity. It's a thing. And we've decided it's not a thing. And we've decided there's no difference between men and women. And Senator Pelosi, God love her. I'm not going to wait for her to come into the burning building and get me out of there when she was of age. And I believe me, I'm as strong a woman as you're ever going to get within the feeble world in which I work. But I'm strong. I know a lot of really tough women. I know a lot of women are heroes. It's different to be a man. It's different. Heroic masculinity. Look, the ugly truth that nobody wants to admit is men are stronger, they're bigger, they're faster.
Better, stronger, faster.
They have a better sense of spatial objects, which is why they blow us out of the water with sports and women can't keep up. That's just the truth. And as a group, a lot of boys are saying, what's the point of all this? What's the point of my being faster and stronger and bigger? It's to protect innocent people. It's to be that person who goes into the burning building. That's what I'm all about. And there's plenty of great women firefighters. There's plenty of great women cops. But no, Nancy Pelosi is not an example of heroic masculinity.
That's not what I was saying.
I know, but
I was saying it's important for our children to have positive examples of the heroic.
Yes.
And for young boys to understand how to treat others respectfully and how to feel fully empowered to be heroic.
So is there a different kind of heroism that you would model for your sons in a particular way than your daughter, or do you just think heroism is the same for the genders?
I think there's certain qualities: loyalty, decisiveness, commitment, a willingness to take risks, service to others, that are admirable in men and women. And absolutely, I mean, you know, my boys like wrestled and played football and played lacrosse, and I'm very proud of them. But we also help them understand how to treat others with respect. How to be positive.
So I have to respectfully end it there. Thank you very much, you guys. Time for news.
From the 16th floor during a